Okay, of course. What's up, fellow music fanatics and lovers of YouTube, music enthusiasts, music fans, all that jazz? Mr. Music Fan here, and today we will start this really special Metallica discography review. And what better way to start a Metallica discography review than a review of Metallica's first studio album, Kill 'Em All, released in 1983 on Megaforce Records. So, when you talk about Metallica, when you talk about them as an influence, as them as a dynamic force within the world of heavy metal, you can't really get as pure or as basically thrash metal than you can with Kill 'Em All. Kill 'Em All is probably like the purest sense of the word of thrash metal. If you want to trace back the thrash metal, speed metal genre back to its essential pure roots, then Kill 'Em All is the first place to start out with when you think of not only just Metallica's catalog, but even also the band's overall influence on heavy metal in general. And that is no exception, because Kill 'Em All is a straight hard rock metal, thrash metal classic. It is straight up, the premier album of the thrash metal genre. And essentially the band Metallica consists of James Hetfield, rhythm guitar and vocals, Kirk Hammett, who actually replaced Megadeth ex-guitarist Dave Mustaine, who actually was the original composer of four tracks of these songs off of Kill 'Em All, and was replaced by Kirk Hammett, who ends up becoming Metallica's longtime lead guitarist. And then you got the late great Cliff Burton, fantastic, phenomenal bass player, excellent bass player, legendary bass player. And rounding up the whole band is Lars Ulrich, drums, percussionist, and together they make up the whole of Metallica. And right around the time of the release of this record, all of you know the story of Dave Mustaine. He, as I said before, he composed four of the album's tracks. I can't precisely name all of them right now. I don't know if I can right now at the moment. Oh yeah, okay, I can't name them right now, right now. Dave Mustaine co-wrote with Metallica The Four Horsemen, Jump in the Fire, Phantom Lord, and also Metal Militia. So he co-wrote four songs off the album. And he was outed by the band because of obviously you guys know the story, heavy drinking problems and all that, so he was out of the band right before they were about to play their first live show or their first record deal. But anyway, that all you can look up on Wikipedia either way. But you don't get as hard rocking and as metal as this album in particular. This album is just so full of, chock full of metallic, fast-paced, thrashy metal songs off here. Songs like Hit the Lights, especially the first one, Motor Breath, also another one, Seek and Destroy, another great metal classic off this record, and also Motor Breath also too. I think I said that before. Anyway, Four Horsemen is another one also too. All these songs display Metallica's brutality, their brand of heavy metal, their thrash metal, speed metal. It's just is otherwise taking the influence of their own particular influences from the new wave of British heavy metal. Bands like Judas Priest, Motorhead, Diamond Head. A bunch of those bands that were especially big in the 70s. And also kind of marring them with this brash of hardcore punk rock, to the point that it doesn't come out as strictly British as the new wave of British metal bands, nor is it punk rock. it kind of borderlines between those two particular styles of genres, and Metallica, just marries them perfectly with this album. This album is just so thrashy and just so fast paced. This album is just nothing but fast paced thrash music, and you don't get as purely speed metal and thrash metal as this album. They make their stamp on this album. And the songwriting here, if I can sum it up in just a couple of words, it's "We are Metallica, and with our brand of heavy metal, we will blow your face off." That's the whole lyrical content of this album. Is really them saying, "We are here, and we are here to rock your socks off." So beware. Like it's that kind of assertiveness with the lyrics here on this album. It's just very brutalizing. It's very almost very maverick in a sense, but it still has this, here we are, we're ready to take charge, we're ready to take over, so watch yourself kind of thing. It's just that masculine assertiveness with these lyrics on this album. And this album, as everyone has said over the years, is a prime thrash metal classic. Metallica makes their big debut here, and to talk about talk about an introduction to your band, then to come out with an album like Kill 'Em All, like this album, and it is just a heavy metal classic, sheer thrash metal classic. All the songs, most of the songs, at least for me, are just strictly thrash, fast-paced, in-your-face. No frills, no sussing around. All these songs pack a punch. And if there's any particular problem I have with this album, is the fact that apart from Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, which is the epic Cliff Burton bass solo from Cliff Burton, there's not much variation with this album. It's just strictly just Metallica just speeding away at all these songs, and not much variation in a sense. So like without much variation, it kind of gets a little bit daunting in most areas. But either way, Metallica really makes themselves shine on this particular record. Like it's their music, it's their brand of heavy metal. They are here, they're going to come to your town and blow you away. And that's the overall message of this album. And it is just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Even though I will particularly say that this is not my favorite Metallica album by any means. But I'll explain that a little bit later. This album, by the way, merits a track-by-track review. So here I go with the track-by-track review. Really quick. First song, Hit the Lights. Fantastic introduction to this album. Like you don't get as as grinding and as in your face as Hit the Lights. And like it really starts off with this very heavy jam, this really the band like jamming away, just like you would almost expect that at the end of a metal song, but here you get it in the beginning. And of course nothing I can say about that song. Perfect introduction to this album. Four Horsemen, second song, also another great song right here. The whole thing with famine, time, pestilence, and death, can even be metaphorically allegorical to the band members themselves. As to which band member they correspond to, I personally don't have any idea, but either way, the song rocks either way. Motor Breath, simply just also really great mid-tempo song right there, Motor Breath. Jump at the Fire, another good one here. I think another one that was also written along with Dave Mustaine, and another great song right there. Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, the epic Cliff Burton solo. This is probably my favorite song off this record, and for good reason. Like, if you like to hear Cliff Burton say bass solo take one, what a take that is. Like this is a prime example of the bass guitar. And Cliff Burton, as everyone has said over the years, like this is a prime example of the electric bass guitar. And Cliff Burton, without any particular question, is one of the greatest, or was one of the greatest bass players ever to be spawned on an album or a song. And this album, this bass solo take is just simply gloriously epic. It is just simply mind blowing. It's mind blowing, you know. And it's like I don't think I can put anything to the table that everyone else has said already about this song. Like it stands on its own, and if there's any way that anybody can remember Cliff Burton by, it is clearly by this song, Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, and it is just fantastic. It's glorious, epic bass solo, by the amazing Cliff Burton. Rest in peace. You are even still missed to this very day. Fantastic song, my favorite. No hands down. Nothing else to say. Whiplash. Whiplash was just like a fantastic, great metal song. Really fantastic. One thing I can say though is that at this point Lars Ulrich has a pretty complex drumming here, but they don't take the epic quality that they will in future albums, particularly with the fourth album, the Justice album, but that's when I get to that album review. But either way, Whiplash, another great song right there. Phantom Lord. I have to greatly admit that I'm not nearly as familiar with this song as many other people are. I've only listened to this song a few times already, and it's still pretty epic song right there, but I can't put much of an analysis on that song because I'm just not familiar with it. But still really great song either way. Let me see right here. No Remorse. Another great track right there. When I said earlier about the lack of variation, this is where, for me personally, at least for me personally, so don't freak out, guys, don't freak out. For me personally, this is where the album kind of gets a little bit of just a teeny bit, just a little bit, not much, but just a little bit over into the slightly dull side. Of course, that's not to say that this song is dull by any means, but the problem, with the lack of variation, there is not much of let's take a different turn here to make things more interesting. It's just if you've heard one song off this record, then you've heard pretty much almost all of them. They all have the very same structure, the very same fast-paced, grinding sound on here, and not much of the songs take any variation, any different turns, either way. But that's the album for you, anyways. But yeah, Seek and Destroy. This is another favorite song of mine. I definitely really like. It's again so many reviewers on YouTube that have said a lot of things about this song that I personally can't say already. It's pretty much Metallica's Stairway to Heaven. It's their Losing My Religion. It's their anthem basically. If you can come up with an anthem for Metallica, then this is definitely has to be it. This song kind of epitomizes what Metallica are all about. And that's what they basically are. They are a heavy metal band, thrash metal band of varying degrees, coming to your town and blowing you away. So watch out there. So that's basically what this song is. Again, great rocking metallic song right here. And last song, Metal Militia. Also another song written with Dave Mustaine, and kind of wraps up the album very perfectly. Wraps it up in a very no frills kind of way. Really fantastic rhythm here. James Hetfield really kind of leads the rhythm in this point. And his rhythm is just so racing. It is just so visceral and very uncompromising. This whole album is very uncompromising in and of itself. And this song wraps up Kill 'Em All very perfectly. very, like same way as you came in with Hit the Lights, like be careful over there. But uh, anyway, now four point grading system. Uh, if you've been watching my videos, you hopefully will know what the system is all about. First point, music originality. Fantastic music originality. Metallica, when they came out with this record in 1983, this was the likes of what no one at that time has ever heard before. This was new. This was really this was new in the sense of like, oh my gosh, this is very epic and theatrical. This is metal unlike any of what anyone has heard before, and this album is greatly original for that. And for sure it has inspired countless of other bands that have followed with them, and for sure this album is primarily original. So 5 out of 5 for music originality. Fantastic music originality. Songwriting here is like, again, I sum it up with the words, we are Metallica and we will blow your face off. And that's the overall message I get with this album lyrically. A lot of the chord progressions and the musical progressions that were written by Mustaine prior to his outing of Metallica, are really kind of awesome. Like they are really just rocking and metallic here. It's thrashy and strictly street and in your face. So not much I can say about the songwriting here. Likability. I have to greatly admit with the likability, like will be a 4 out of 5. And it's not because I don't listen to this album generally. It's just mostly because like as much as I am giving this record its props, and I'm giving this record the praise that it deserves, that it has gotten over the years, again, I say that this is not my favorite Metallica album, not because it's bad. By any means this is not bad, but I just don't feel gravitated towards it as much. It's not like I'm a hardcore fan of this album. I just generally enjoy this album, whenever I can. Whenever I feel the inclination to listen to any of the songs of this record, then I will. But either way, it's not a record that I listen to much, but it's a record I give its props to, that without this record, we would not know Metallica as we know them now. So 4.5 for the likability for me. As for the record, I'm hoping this doesn't cause any controversy, but either way, this record, I'll have to give it a straight 5. Straight 5 out of 5 for this record. This is a prime example of heavy metal, prime example of Metallica. This is a rebirth of the metal genre, and this album really revitalized the underground metal scene in Los Angeles, is where they got their start from. And this record is a pure prime example of metal. It's a prime example of Metallica. So straight 5, like despite the lack of variation that I've said earlier, like this album still gets my props either way, and really there isn't anything else I can say that offers anything different of what everyone else has had to say over the years of this album. So 5 out of 5, kill them all. An album that like I don't like. It's not not my favorite Metallica album, but it's still an album I give my major respects to. So yeah, it's pretty much it. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Tell me what you think. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why? And tomorrow will be the Ride the Lightning album review. Tomorrow will be the second album review, so be on the lookout for that. Mr. Music Fan, Metallica special discography review has started right now, today. So hold on to your hats, because we're going to go to Ride the Lightning next time, tomorrow. So keep it locked right here. Mr. Music Fan, take care, guys.